We're so done with new year, new you. This year, it's more you on Bumble. More of you shamelessly sending playlists, especially that one filled with show tunes. More of you finding Geminis because you know you always like them. More of you dating with intention because you know what you want. And you know what? We love that for you. Someone else will too. Be more you this year and find them on Bumble.
Hey, I'm Greer, host of the Unfinished Idea podcast. Mom to 2 boys and 2 dogs and raising a child with additional needs. Our day-to-day experience isn't being talked about in everyday life. So let's start the conversation. Whether you're a parent, a friend, a teacher, or a neighbor, everyone is welcome to join us over a cup of coffee as we help bring awareness and better understanding about neurodiversity and families who are raising children with additional needs. We're here to share the joys, the struggles, and the differences, as well as learn and grow and feel seen and heard by how we interact with each other and the world. Welcome. Hey guys, I am dropping a special mini bonus episode talking about what we do around the holidays and with travel. For those in the US, Thanksgiving is just around the corner. For those outside the US, you might have a few more days or weeks till you're in full holiday mode, but just wanted to have a conversation and share kind of some things we do. You know your family, you know what's best for your family, and some of these things might not work, but I just wanted to share what we do and how we have traveled as we've traveled around the world with our kids. So let's jump right in and let's talk about airports. I have a few tips that I've learned about airports. The first one is almost every airport has a quiet room. Now, some airports double their quiet room up with their spiritual room. Some airports double it up with kind of different things, but almost every airport has a quiet room. And this space, again, some airports, it's 4 walls and some chairs. Other places, it's couches. Other times there's even some toys. It varies. But this space can be really helpful when you have a dysregulated child, when noise is overwhelming for them and there are constant, reminders and announcements and people. This can be a great space just to take a minute, take a breath, regroup, re-regulate, and then go back out. I've used this room once. We need to get through. It was kind of a little stressful moment. I was like, let's go. We just kind of calmed for a second and then we went back out there. And what's great is that it is really a quiet room. There's no announcements, really no people. I mean, I've never been there with another person. And so it is a really nice, calming space. I will say that some airports, again, the ones I've been to, don't have announcements in the rooms. So set a reminder or a timer about when your flight is actually boarding, because you would hate to miss that because you're in the quiet room. The second thing is take your time. Don't rush. Get there early. In the UK, there's lanyards that are kind of a unspoken, unwritten rule of kind of, if I'm wearing this, it means myself or my family is needing extra space, might need extra assistance, kind of give me a little more time. We wear this when we travel because we have found it to be helpful. We have found it to be a way that we can kind of, we don't have to explain every time, but people kind of know, oh yeah, they'll need extra time, or, oh yeah, they're not doing something weird because they're weird. They're just trying to help their son understand what's happening. So just take your time. When you get to security, like if it takes you 5 minutes to get through security, that's totally okay. It is totally okay. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel really rushed and like, oh, I got to get through. I got to get all this stuff. Just take your time. Take your time. When we check in, depending on the, passport situation, sometimes we'll check in, like I'll go and check in, do all the bags, and my husband will head towards security and kind of do the last drink, maybe go to the toilet, whatever. Sometimes we've even gone breakfast before going through. So it's just take your time. And if that means getting there extra early, do that. Like we get there with loads of time. Sometimes my husband gets annoyed how early we get there, but then I also know we can take our time. We don't have to rush. We have a breather. We can get to our gate. We can do whatever we need to do to have a less stressful travel. The other thing to say and to highlight is a lot of airports now are also putting in play places. So we fly a lot out of London and they have a play place or play area that's not in our terminal. But because we've gotten there so early, we sometimes will go to that terminal and play there for a little while. And it's a great little area. I would, again, if you are flying out of somewhere, ask employees. You never know. They might have it. Quite a few of the airports we've flown out of do have a play area. Again, not always in the terminal. So depending on your time, may or may not be helpful for you. The other thing is, depending on your culture, depending on where you are, asking questions, asking for help might not be like the most comfortable thing, but we ask for help. Not all the time. If we don't need it, we don't ask. But specifically around the security line and just waiting and knowing. There was one time our son, I was solo traveling. He was really upset about leaving. He didn't want to leave the family we were visiting. And I could just see a meltdown was happening or about to happen. And so I just went straight up and was like, my son has additional needs. He is about to have a meltdown. Can we please just skip the queue? I said, I'm not doing this just to like cut all these people off. But I also understand that no one wants to hear a child screaming. And I said, he will start screaming. And so, explaining the situation, like explaining what could happen, what was going to happen. And yeah, we cut the queue. Very graciously, they let us go past everyone. We got through security. And on the other side, he had a meltdown. It wasn't major. It was okay. And again, someone said, oh, can we help you? I said, he's just having a meltdown. We're fine. Thank you. We kind of went off to the side and they actually stood there, not in a like watchy, aggressive way, but actually as a way of like trying to get other people to not stare at us, which I thought was really helpful and very kind. So ask for help. If you need help, ask for it. The employees there are there to help. I know sometimes they're trying to get people through, but if you need it, go ahead and ask for it. The next one is kind of a travel, but also holiday tradition. I don't know, but I would say kind of setting expectations and preparation. So whenever we travel and or the holidays, we talk about them. We say like, oh, this might happen. Or if we know for sure something's going to happen, this will happen. We just talk about it. Depending on what it is, where we're going, what we're doing, like depends on when we start talking about it. But definitely, I'd say 3 to 5 days before, we are in full preparation mode is what I call it. We are talking about it. We might be cleaning the dishes and I might say, oh yeah, we might be cleaning the dishes wherever we're going, or, oh, so-and-so might help us clean the dishes when they come to visit. Like just really trying to connect our everyday things with the people and the places that we're visiting and seeing and going. And that just has helped. I've seen a massive difference in our son when we've done that because he knows what to expect. He knows kind of a rough kind of idea of things that might happen. And we're clear that we say this might happen if we aren't for sure. We don't want to make false promises, but we just, highly recommend preparation, setting expectations. And something that we have, especially now we kind of are understanding a bit more about our son and his needs is kind of inviting other people, other adults, friends, family into our expectations. We're very aware that our son is not going to fit into their expectations. And so inviting them in to ours. An example would be our son can't sit at the table for more than 5-ish minutes at a time, depending on what's happening at the table when we eat. And so he has breaks and he'll say, oh, I need a break. And he knows he has a minute to go do something. Sometimes it's a quick, run back and forth or whatever. And then he comes and sits, eats more food, joins in. And, we have said to our friends and family who come and have meals with us that that's okay, that's an expectation. That's a thing that he does and that's okay. And kind of having those conversations with them means that when he does do it, they're not going, oh, wait, no, come back. Like, they're not getting annoyed with him, but also it's opened up, other conversations of what we do and how we do it and why we do it. And it's just been a really cool thing to see as we've kind of opened up more about it. I know not every family or friends understand. And I understand that those can be really hard conversations. And so, your family, your friends, but I just really want to encourage you to take a small step. Maybe it's a little thing and say like, kind of, this is what we're expecting or, maybe sharing with one person who's going to be at your table, versus the whole table. So just, I want to encourage you. I also understand that it's hard. So please know that I see you in that and I'm cheering you on in that as well. So some other things that we do is we try and do things that are low key. We have traditions that we do that give room for grace, meaning give room for meltdowns that can occur, give room for people who may just not want to join in that moment. So that does mean a lot of them happen in our home or kind of around our home. So not necessarily like a specific event where you have to be there for a certain time. But yeah, we just try and release the pressure of trying to be there for a certain time at a certain day, and this is the only opportunity to see it kind of moments. But yeah, allow some kind of grace, some meltdowns to happen. And after we've done that event, so for example, we will go and see Christmas lights. Where we live has lots of Christmas lights. We will go and see them, walk around and enjoy kind of that atmosphere. When we get back, we will probably not do anything the next day. We'll probably be able to rest and try and just kind of have, I guess you could call it a recovery break. Recognizing that, the afternoon before might have been a lot. It might have been too much for my child. But yeah, so trying to not cram too much in is the other thing I'd probably say to that. And then I think the biggest thing we try and do, which might seem silly and you might be like, of course, that's what we do, is one of the things that we've tried to do, and this might seem really silly to you might be like, of course, yeah, duh, I do this. But I find sometimes traditions can be traditions because I've always done them, or traditions because my husband always did them, but they don't always fit our family. And so every year we try and just analyze our traditions. Is this really helping our family? Is this, giving life to our family? And so I would say we try and be kid focused, meaning that that idea that we analyze what's happening and what we're doing. And if it isn't working, maybe we pause it for a couple years, not to say we can't ever do it again or it's a bad thing to do, but we just kind of take a moment and go, that's not giving us joy right now. So let's just pause. And this isn't just a holiday thing. This is kind of something we try and do regularly. Not always great at it, I'm going to be honest, but we try and, particularly around the holidays where there's lots of things to do in a short amount of time, really try and just take time to think, is this going to feed our family? Is this going to be joyful for our family? Are we going to have fun doing this? Is our kids going to have fun doing this? Or are we going to have fun doing this? And just taking time to just be together and recognizing that maybe the tradition isn't going and seeing the lights, but maybe it's just being together for an afternoon, doing something we all like to do. Maybe that's the tradition. So I would say break all the norms, be different, do your own traditions, do traditions that feed you and you all have fun doing. And if they don't work one year, don't worry, don't stress. So those are kind of my, I think, top tips on what we do. I would love to hear what you guys do, what's worked for you, what you've learned. So please send me a message. Yeah, I would love to hear what you do. I'm always up for trying new things, learning new things. So please send me a message, reach out and let me know what you guys do for your holidays. And I hope you have a great holiday season. See you soon. Hey guys, I just want to take a minute to say, if you found this episode really helpful or encouraging, to just take a minute and text it to a friend to say, hey, you might find this helpful, or even maybe just have it as a way to start the conversation and say, hey, can you listen to this and let's talk? So why don't you just take a minute, hit copy, hit send, and we can all together have a great conversation around the unfinished idea.